Okay, let's start. Again, good morning. I'm Angela Arnante. I'll be your host for today's webinar. If you have questions, etc., regarding the topics for today, please use the Q&A feature. If you have other suggestions or comments, please use the chat feature. Also, we'll be giving certificates after this webinar. So we'll be basing the names of those who will be receiving the certificates on the feedback form that we'll be giving after this. Lastly, we're live in Facebook, so please do tell your friends to catch us online. And we'll be uploading an edited version of this webinar very soon. So last week, we featured the experience of Engineer Alan Florin on the use of drones for various land development projects and the experience of Mr. Lubertan on the use of drones in the database building and management of building permits in Cebu City. To continue our quest in learning more about various drone applications, we have invited two awesome ladies today who have been in the game for quite some time now. They've been using the drone technology in the development of a comprehensive land use plan and in cultural heritage and community mapping, coupled with the use of open source software to process drone images. To know more about them, let me call Engineer Raylin De Alca, the Director for Projects and Administration of FEF, to introduce our speakers for the day.
Good morning. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. We are very happy to be joined today by two empowered women who will share with us their experiences on using drone and drone outputs to aid in their work. So our first speaker is Miss Leonides Ator, or she's known as Miss Lily. She is the Municipal Planning and Development Coordinator of the Municipality of Cordova in Cebu. She does spatial town environmental planning through the formulation and updating of comprehensive land use plan. And she also gets to implement the zoning ordinance through the issuance of locational clearances. She acquired her diploma in urban and regional planning from the School of Urban and Regional Planning, University of the Philippines, Diliman in 2002, and she passed the environmental planning licensure examination in 2014. We will hear from her in a bit. Meanwhile, our second speaker is Lei Lunas. Ms. Lei is a GIS analyst with environment and urban planning background. She's a drone pilot and instructor. She has been involved in local and international projects in database management, remote sensing, and GIS development. She is currently with SRDP Consultancy Incorporated as a GIS specialist. She is also a member of the Philippine Flying Labs, a network of local knowledge hubs in Africa, Asia, and Latin America, building on existing expertise in. She's also an OpenStreetMap volunteer and GeoLadies Philippines advocate. So currently she is in Finland, and we made her wake up really early for this. It's around 5:14 a.m. there. We will know more about her also in a while. So thank you very much, ladies, for agreeing to be our speakers for today. So back to you, Angela.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Rhea. Without further ado, Ma'am Lily, please do share your presentation with us by using the share screen feature. Thank you.
Good morning. Hello.
Morning, ma'am. Yes.
Good morning, everyone. How are you?
We're I think we're okay. We're just hoping it won't rain.
It's raining here in this part of.
No.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I am very pleased to be presenting to you our experience in the municipality of Cordova as regards the use of drones. And my presentation has a working title of Drones and Zones. So it is our experience in using drones in updating our comprehensive land use plan, or we call it CLUP, and our zoning regulations. To introduce, my name is Lily Ator. I am the Municipal Planning and Development Coordinator of the Municipality of Cordova. I am also the Zoning Administrator. I do spatial town environmental planning, the formulation of and updating of our comprehensive land use plans. By the way, land use plans are often reviewed in 5 years from its approval, and but it has a time frame of about 9 years. I also integrate sectoral plans in the comprehensive development plan. So it's the in the layers of plan, the CDP or the comprehensive land use plan comes next to the comprehensive land use plan. The comprehensive development plan is a framework plan of any town or local government unit, and it has usually a duration of about 6 years. And it breaks down into short-term plans like the executive and legislative agenda, which is about 3 years, in the annual investment program, which is the annual slice of the local development and investment program.
Ma'am Lily, sis lang po. I believe you have a presentation for us, right?
I'm sorry, I'm not sorry.
Yeah, please. share screen na lang, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Thank you, ma'am. It's the intro naman.
Kala ko kasi nakikita na yung presentation. Okay, sorry.
Ayun, ma'am. We could see it.
Sorry na. Sorry.
Full screen na lang siguro, ma'am.
Hindi pala nakikita yun. Nakala ko na share na yun. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. We can see it now. Yeah.
Okay. So, is an MPDC and a zoning administrator, I also get to implement the zoning ordinance, and I do it through the issuance of locational clearances. So, for those who are not so familiar with the locational clearance, it is a requirement in prior to constructing any structures in the local government unit. It is a requirement prior to the issuance of the building permit. So it ensures that any development or any structure that is being proposed to be built in the area conforms with the zoning ordinance or the zoning regulations in the area. But prior to presenting our experience in using drones, let me get this opportunity to introduce also our municipality. The municipality of Cordova is known for our festival, street dancing, which happens every August 15 of every year, hopefully this Sunday, but because of the COVID pandemic, we are canceling it this year. We also have 3 marine sanctuaries. We're also known for the 10,000 roses, and the Cebu-Cordova Link Expressway, which is the third link from the mainland Cebu towards the Mactan of Island, the Mactan Island, and which is expected to be finished in 2022. And we're also known for bakasi. I do not know if you're familiar with this. They call it exotic food. It got featured in Netflix show sometime about a couple of years ago or last year. And if you're just curious on why the municipality is called Cordova, we actually got our name from the Spanish name Cordova, and we used to be a part of the Lapu-Lapu City, then municipality of Upon. We're a third-class municipality. We're having an annual income about 179 million, and we are part or component of the province of Cebu. We're the part of the 6th district of the province of Cebu. So this is our location. It's part of Mactan Island. So I am here speaking right now, and it's raining hard in this part of the planet. And basically, we're a coastal municipality. There are no hills or mountains in this part. We're an island municipality. So we are facing Bohol Strait in the south, and we're near Cebu City. And in our northern part also is the highly urbanized city of Lapu-Lapu. Let me share with you our experience in updating our comprehensive land use plans through the use of orthophotos, drone-generated orthophotos. How it all started? It started actually in 2011. There was this land management and management program in partnership with the DNR, which led to the creation of the Land Management Council. This was in pursuance to Republic Act 10023, or the Residential Free Patent Act, which we partnered with the with the DNR in titling the workable lots in the municipality of Cordova. And from 2011 up to 2015, the project just went smoothly. And then we learned some challenges also along the way. And we discovered that part of the hurdles or the challenges that the owner or the co-owner of the property go through in titling or in titling his property is the land surveying, which costs a lot of time, effort, and of course money in the subdividing his property from the mother lot. So we engaged the services of the DNR to help us out in subdividing the mother lots of the applicants, and then we subsidize portions of it, and we also engage the DNR to give us a free land surveying. But then again, it also cost us a lot of time and also effort in doing so. In 2016, the municipality of Cordova became a pilot study on the use of drones for land surveying in partnership with the FEF and the Land Management Bureau and of the DNR 7. So we get orthophotos from there, which we realized that it could, aside from land surveying, it could also be useful for such other things. And so it was timely also that in 2017, our comprehensive land use plan was under review because it was due for updating. And we aligned it also with our issuance of the zoning certification as a requirement for the residential free patent. So here, this is an orthophoto map, which was generated from drone, and we see some potentials for this one for monitoring new developments and improvement in the municipality, as well as road network planning, and then actual land use planning. We were fortunate enough to have been helped by the province of Cebu and the DNR in the training and orientation using the process of the rapid land use appraisal to discern existing land use based on the orthophotos. So the participants, which are employees of the offices from the engineering, assessor, and the planning offices of Cordova, were taught to create map layouts of roads, road buffer, and land use. And they were also trained to do printing and exporting of maps to JPEG and other PDF files. So this one is a drone-generated photo, which we traced and digitized, and we just validated it on the field to analyze on what are the existing land uses in this particular area. So the map on the right already is the result of the analysis or the digitation of the drone generated photo. So it helps us, it gave us the idea on the actual land use of the area. So this one, we also analyze it using a matrix to know what are the actual classification, actual land use in the area, so that we can compare it with the approved or targeted land use. And if you will see, this is the mainland of Cordova. it has 12 barangays, although our barangay is 13. The 13th barangay is in the island. We call it Hilutungan Island, or the Barangay Hilutungan. And in 2016, we found out, and we thought all along that the land in the municipality is already fully utilized or fully maximized. But using the photos, the orthophotos, in which we analyze, we were given an aerial view of the mainland of Cordova. We have realized that these white spaces here are not fully maximized. So there are vacant spaces in Cordova, idle areas in Cordova, which we also get to trace on how come these areas are not being utilized. And we were led to the information that some of these areas are owned by prominent owners, prominent landowners, and maybe at that time in 2016 they did not utilize their areas yet, maybe speculating for some more development in the municipality. So it shows here that about 50%, it's about 50% of the land resource in Cordova is not actually utilized based on the actual land use in 2016. So here we get to compare the approved land use map of Cordova and the actual or the existing land use map in 2016. So the areas in yellow, for those who are familiar with the color coding of the HLURB, yellow represents residential areas and red for commercial areas. So the areas allocated for residential in 2010 were not actually fully utilized in 2016, based on the actual land use. Although the residential areas, the patches in yellow, are dispersed all throughout the mainland of Cordova. So we also compare it with the approved in the actual land use of Cordova, and then here we found out that 499 hectares out of 956 hectares remain vacant or idle, and only the remaining 400 plus are being utilized for various uses like residential, commercial, industrial, and such other uses. So you might notice that there are no agricultural uses in the municipality, basically because we are not suitable for agriculture. So from there, we were able to analyze the direction of the development in the municipality. And we happen to know that the type of development in Cordova is more of linear. So the development follows where there are road networks. And in this map of the municipality, we also found out that the development are concentrated in the poblacion or in the center of the municipality, while other areas like other barangays are remain vacant or remain idle or unutilized for commercial purposes. So from there, based on our series of consultations, we thought of combining the centric and the nodal form and the radial and circumferential form of urban form in our development. So what we intend is that to focus the development in the population area. We call it the central business district, but then also bring the development to the identify also urban growth centers in the different parts of the municipality, so that the other barangays also could develop together with the population or the entire municipality. So here, we came up with this concept of maintaining the central area of the municipality or the central business district, and then also identify urban growth centers in the northern part, in the southern part, eastern and western part of the municipality, based on the potentials that they're having. Like, for example, the population area has potential for services or for commercial establishments. So we take it from there. So in the northern part also, these are areas which are residential subdivisions. The yellow portions here are residential subdivisions, and the barangays or the barangay officials also intend to blend the commercial developments in the area to make it balanced. And we also identify ecotourism sites or tourism potentials, and we concentrate developments from there. And in this part also, in the eastern part of the municipality, there is the proposed light industrial park. So you are seeing purple here and red commercial areas also in these areas. So by purple, we are actually referring to light industrial. And in the south, which is the it's more on ecotourism and also a tourism, ecotourism, and residential. So the municipality has 956 hectares, and that only comprises the mainland of the municipality. But then in the comprehensive land use planning, we need to integrate land, water, and the forest. So we are also considering coastal zoning. So this one here, as part also of our analysis on that orthophoto map that we generated, we are able to make a zoning map for each barangay of the municipality. So we have 13 barangays. So the first barangay is this one, Barangay Alegria, and you are seeing here yellow and red. So it's a blend of residential and commercial. And these portions here also of towards the sea, it's tourism. So the other barangay, this one is Barangay Bangbang. So we also come up with the zoning map for that barangay. And then there's one, Barangay Buagsong, and this is for Barangay Katarman, Barangay Kugon, Barangay Dapitan, Barangay Dayas. So Barangay Gabi, this is already concentrated with residential subdivisions, and there is a proposed light industrial park also in this area. This one is the only island barangay that we have. There are also residents in the area, and they're concentrated in the middle part of the island. And but the edge of the island has potentials for commercial and tourism development. And Barangay Ibabaw also concentrated with residential subdivisions. And so as Barangay Pilipog. Barangay Pilipog, by the way, this is the barangay where in the landing of the foot of the Cebu Cordova Link Expressway will take place. So we are expecting significant land use change in this area. That's why we are preparing this part for commercial and light industrial uses. So Barangay Poblacion, this would be concentrated more on commercial and C1, C2, or C3. And this one is Barangay San Miguel, the blend of commercial and residential. So this is the entire zoning map of the municipality. This is the mainland of Cordova. These are the proposed forestry developments in the area, and this is the coastal zone. The land area of Cordova is only 956 hectares, which is only 5% of the total territory that we are claiming, because we have a municipal water of about 17,000 hectares. And we are also zoning it for sustainable fishery, trade and navigation, forestry development, multi-use, public beach, and we also allocated areas for marine sanctuaries. This allocation map, this is for the forest land use map. So in the comprehensive land use plan, we are a requisite for the approval thereof is a forest land use plan. Although we do not have timber or forest in the municipality, but we're having these mangroves, these patches of green here, and we're also allocating it for mariculture, protection, and environmental protection, and ecotourism. So this is the coastal zone map of the municipality. We are assigning some numbers or codes for that corresponding to a particular zone. I was asked to share about some drawbacks about the use of the orthophotos in the comprehensive land use planning, and one drawback or one disadvantage for the use of the orthophoto is where you are near an airport, because there is a limitation set out by ATO or CAAP not to fly in any drone in this part of the area. So as you will see in this map, there is a missing portion here because this part in Pilipog towards Barangay Babag in Lapu-Lapu City is a direct flight path of the plane, wherein the ATO did not permit us to fly in this area. So the municipality is within the 6,000 meter radius of the MCIA, and also there is a height limitation for not just for the drone, for the flying of drone, but also for the structures that will be built in the area. Another limitation on the use of orthophoto in land use planning or updating of comprehensive land use plan is that some recent developments will not get included in the drone generated photo. I'm saying that in 2016, when the drone was flown, there were no big development yet in the municipality. But if you remember, in 2018, the Cebu Cordova Link Expressway started its construction, and a lot of people, businessmen, ordinary people, investors, are looking at the potentials of Cordova for development. So the 2016 orthophoto map would not be the same right now because there are already recent development like this one. This is a development from a resort which was not caught in 2016 because I think they developed it in 2017 or 2018. And this one also, the ongoing construction of the Cebu Cordova Link Expressway, which was not caught during the 2016 orthophoto, drone generated orthophoto. So recent developments that are not included in the drone generated photo. So we just complement it with the Google Earth to identify those portions that are missing because of the limitations set out by ATO, and also the recent developments that were not caught in that during the flying of the drone. And nonetheless, we are appreciative of the output that we're getting from the orthophoto maps because it gives us an advantage when it comes to land use planning and zoning. So it somehow gives us a bird's eye view on the actual land uses and development in the area in a way that could help us analyze also the current situation. So we can compare what was approved in the comprehensive land use plan and what were targeted. It also hinted us on what went wrong, on how come the developments which we directed towards this portion all the while was diverted into this portion. So we are seeing this. We were guided by that. So by the use of the orthophoto, also we found out that if we do not limit the development in the urban core of the municipality or the center of the municipality, we will be there are tendencies that there will be urban sprawling because the adjacent barangay of the population also started to develop on its own, like the mall is already there also. So that's why we were glad that we are able to see these developments so that we could also provide restrictions and come out with a strategy. Like, for example, we are driving development now to and by establishing urban growth centers, significant urban growth centers in strategic areas. So thank you again. So that would be my presentation. If you have any questions, I will try to answer. Thank you very much for listening.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma'am Lily, for that presentation. Guys, if you have questions, please do write them in the Q&A, and we'll entertain them later after the second speaker. Now, let's go to our second speaker. Ma'am Lily, can you please stop sharing the presentation? Miss Leigh, you're up. Yeah.
Hi everyone.
Hello again. So, if you're ready, please share your screen.
Yep,
Thanks.
yep. Okay, wait. Ayan, can you see my slides?
Yep, we can see your slides.
Okay, sige. Sabihin ako, wait lang. Ayun, hi everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank Foundation for Economic Freedom for organizing Do's and Drones Season 2 event, so episode 3 na, and giving me the opportunity to share my mappy hobby. So thank you pala Miss Lily for that presentation. I worked with Cebu province before and we conducted a GIS seminar using QGIS, and seeing those maps, grabe, nostalgia, and I'm very proud of your GIS team. So, again, my topic is about community mapping in the Philippines. So, drones are powerful tools in data collection, and I will be sharing my experience as a pilot and what I can contribute in OpenStreetMap if given more opportunities in the future to fly drones in remote areas in the country. Okay. And so in my presentation, I have focused on two case studies. So the first one is mapping a cultural heritage site, and second one is mapping an urban community. I will also share a little bit about OpenDroneMap and OpenAerialMap. So shout out pala kay Bunny Leonardo Soriano. So he's one of the OSM Titos of Manila for sharing what ODM means and OAM means during the Pista ng Mapa event in 2019 with Ian Gongona, also a drone pilot and OSM volunteer. Ayan, okay. So, hi ulit. I'm Leigh Lunas. I wear different hats. I work for SRDP as a JS manager, member of Flying Labs, volunteer of OpenStreetMap, and Julie's PH advocate. So, ano ba tong pinagagawa ko sa buhay ko? And so, share ko lang. So, SRDP is an engineering consultancy company with extensive experience in mapping, surveying, planning, and civil engineering, giving distinct edge in implementation and maintenance of successful GIS and engineering solutions. So, we're the first to get certified as operator by CAAP. Our drones are registered and we are certified UAV controllers. Yeah. Okay, sorry. So we also use drones for local international clients. Yung highlight ko lang siguro sa international, like Uganda, Tanzania, Zambia, and Solomon Islands. Tapos ito, so I'm part of GeoLadies PH. So we advocate in community diversity, collaborative participation, and affirmative spaces for women and underrepresented communities in OpenStreetMap and the geospatial community. So we are helping and hosting mapping activities that we support, such as violence against women, women and children desks and centers with DSWD, Mapababae program. We also help mental health awareness, humanitarian OpenStreetMap, Map the Philippines, OSM Paaralan, and LGBT-friendly spaces. So we attended SheMap's basic drone training, and I also conducted a basic drone training for women with Philippines Flying Labs. So shout out lang sa GeoLadies PH group dyan. So yun. Ayan. Next is OpenStreetMap. So it's a collaborative project to create a free editable map of the world. So para siyang Wikipedia of maps. Meron tayong OpenStreetMap Philippines community, which is basically everyone who contributes in OSM. So we're mainly volunteers gathered from mapathons with a cause, like what I mentioned a while ago. And during this COVID lockdown, so we also conducted an online mapathon and knowledge sharing sessions every Wednesday from March to July. Tawag dito ay Wednesdays Mapa Time o WeMap. So because we are very driven and active community, you can see the PH photos, no? If you compare the 2012 to 2019 data in OSM, there's a significantly huge improvement on the data. So yan, continue lang tayo doon. And last year pala, we had the Pista ng Mapa or Festival of Maps events held in Dumaguete to generate public interest, promote the use of open data and free software, gathering of enthusiast users in the public and private. And also, we're including more people from outside Metro Manila to participate OpenStreetMap. Shout out then kay Sir Rene. He is the guest speaker during that time. So, ayun. So, supposedly, we have another Pista ng Mapa this year sa Cebu. Kaso dahil nga COVID, so na-cancel siya. So, now we're gonna do it live on November 2020. So, yun. Panoorin niyo yun. And last, sa Philippines Flying Labs, so we are part of the We Robotics Flying Labs program that builds on local expertise for local solutions. Right now, there are 27 flying labs. We also got our drone instructor training from SheMaps. No? SheMaps is an online Australian-based company that provides drone education with other flying labs in Asia. So our next project, sana, is yung cargo drone delivery, where we deliver medical supplies to remote areas in the Philippines. So dahil sa COVID, hindi siya natuloy. But hopefully, we get to do this soon. Ayun, I just want to share this. I shared this last year sa PNM. So there's only 8% of certified drone pilots in the Philippines are women. So my hope would be someday I can encourage women to pick up a drone and start flying. Okay, so ito na yung presentation ko for reals. Ayan, so yung cultural heritage site na pinili ko ay yung sa Ifugao Rice Terraces. So, ito. Okay, so Bataday Terraces belongs to the Ifugao Rice Terraces cluster inscribed in the UNESCO World Heritage Site. So in 2001, nag-place siya under list of World Heritage Site in danger, and then removed from that list in 2012 since the Philippine government implemented more conservation efforts and established more sustainable support system for the cultural site. So it's 400 kilometers away and they belong to the Ayangan-Ifugao Ethno-Linguistic Group. Their main source of livelihood is farming and tourism then, and 65% of the household residing in that area is below poverty threshold. Tas yun nga, so dito yung site ni Thanos kung saan siya nag-retire sa Marvel Universe. Yan. I was able to map this area because I'm part of the research team of his thesis. So yung Entitlement Thesis ay characterizing factors of landscape sustainability, the case of Batad, Philippines. The authors are architect Edra Belga and Faith Varona. And so the goal was to identify measurable changes in the culture's ecosystem through the years with its growing tourism business. So basically, is there a balance between cultural preservation and tourism in that small remote area? So while I was doing data collecting, the rest of the team surveyed, I think 80 plus participants, including local and foreign tourists, residents, and the community leaders. Okay, so before we get to fly the drone, so we got the proper permits and requests from the governor, mayor, and the community leaders. So I just want to emphasize also the importance for them to understand that the data we're collecting will be shared to them as well. Ayun, so I use a DJI Phantom and Pix4D capture. This is the result. So sorry. So, sinurvey ko pala siya twice noong May 2019, tsaka nitong before mag-lockdown, so noong Feb 2020. So, as a result, we were able to produce this high-res image and digital elevation model for analysis. For thesis support, actually. The resolution, blah, blah. Okay. So, kung makita nyo dito sa photo sa left side, taken siya sa, sa same place, kay Mang Ramon. So, in 2019 and 2020, nakita nyo yung obstruction na GI sheets to enjoy the view. So, parang ang sad lang niya tingnan. Hindi na maganda na yung view. And from the imagery, you can identify which houses are traditional and native, which are modern using GI sheets nga. That more households are preferring those modern houses because they can host tourists there, so for tourism na rin. Bigger in size for bigger families, and a fewer native materials available in area due to land conversion. So share ko lang itong ginawa kong 3D video from Pix 4D. So yun, sobrang chill. Chill lang niya. And I remember 10 years ago, it took me like more than 3 hours to reach the main village. Tapos dahil nga sa road improvement, parang 30 minutes lang, you're already there. Ayan, okay. I shared this also last year during Pista ng Mapa, Geoladies workshop. Ayan, so very true to life, yung 3D effect niya. Okay, so kita niyo yung main village, and then dun sa upper left side, dun yung mostly yung mga residents. Tapos yung Tapia Falls nandyan. Okay, so output namin is Ortho DSM DTM, and in-upload namin siya sa Open Aerial Map. So dahil dun, we were able to digitize the houses, the buildings, roads, and water bodies in OSM. And the base map was printed and used in the Tourism Information Center. So pag pumunta kayo doon, nakita niyo yung map na ginawa namin. And yung health center nila, they were able to map out household health status tsaka location. Tapos handwritten lang yung mga yun. Hand-drawn lang. Tapos ngayon, ayun, medyo in-update namin siya. So mukha na siyang fancy map. Ayun pala. Tapos, since I'm using 2 different data sets, so nagkaroon siya ng shift. So nag-add lang ako ng manual type points to geo-rectify the image. Tapos I use ortho mosaicing to check better photos sa Pix 4D. Ayan, so next, drones for urban planning. Our site is in Lupang Arenda, Taytay. This was possible also by proper coordination with the community leaders, OpenStreetMap volunteers, and yun, yung couple of drone volunteers din. So ito kami, si Bunny, si Ian, si Dodong, some community leaders, si Rally, tapos si Sir Maning and si Erwin. Yeah, so the goal was to provide a high-res image, aerial and street view of Lupang Arenda to the barangay. For a densely populated area, it is difficult to identify buildings using satellite imagery alone. May picture ako mamaya. Anyway, so it took us 2 days, 3 drones, 10 flights to survey that area. Tapos ito yung resolution niya. Dapat 1 day lang yan, kaso nagkaroon ako ng problema sa drone ko, kaya naging 2 days siya. Ayun, so dahil doon, it's easier to digitize features like roads, buildings, and other facilities. So kita mo agad yung text, yung school, tapos yung flooded area ng flooded portion ng lupang arenda, and even yung banderita sidewalk, kita siya. And it's easier to digitize, especially the building edges. So, ang sarap nito mag-digi sa OpenStreetMap. Ayan. So, sa Ortho, DSM, BTM din. So, ayan. So, we process this using Pix4D and OpenDroneMap. Siyempre, we're promoting free open source stuff. Ayan. Ano sa naman? Okay, so ano ba yung OpenDroneMap, no? So, basically, it's a program that takes the images and input and produces variety of georeference assets as output, such as maps and 3D models. Ayan, so you can visit the website. Ayun, so ang web ODM, if you register, you have 150 credits for free, and meron siyang command line toolkit, or pwede ring may map interface, which is $57. So 2,500 lang per year. And very comprehensive yung documentation nila, no? And then you can see free examples, and they are the friendliest community on earth daw. So if you need support, I think you will have a lot of support from the community. And ang cute din kasi meron silang flying tips na kinuha nila from Humanitarian OpenStreetMap. So kung kunyari beginner flyer ka, beginner pilot ka, so you can check out the tips. And very comprehensive din yung details nila, how they try to stitch and produce the DTM, DSM, the photos. Ayan, so comparison lang ng Pix4D and ODM, halos seamless lang. And you can check this website, opendronemap.github.io, UAV Arena. Check nyo rin yung other outputs nila. So halos same lang din. Tapos nagkakaroon na ng difference siguro sa yung georeferencing lang siguro issue niya. But other than that, perfect. Okay, so ayun, you can try this at home. Go to this link, download test images, create an account, and verify your email to get the free tokens. Ayan, so ginawa ko lang ng presentation ko paano siya gawin. Ayan, so pwede ka na kayong wait and see. Ano ako dito? Ayan, so I created the project and images, tas if there are GCPs available, tapos wait and see. So cloud processing siya, no? Cloud server processing, kaya in-upload yung photos. Then I just waited for them to stitch them and produce the output through email. And then, ayun, nalabas na yung output niya. Ayun, so what is Open Aerial Map or OAM? So usually, we upload UAV for OpenStreetMap background. So ganito yung itsura niya, para siyang Earth Explorer, na may mga tiles, and then kung blue yung tiles, makita mo mayroong mga images na in-upload doon, and makita mo rin yung numbers. So, ayun. So, for example, this tile, so, ayun, maraming nag-produce ng high-res images like Sky Eye, si Rally, si Sorby, and ayun, ako din pala, nag-produce din ako dyan. Ayun. Then after that, so once you select your image, then you can open it in ID editor or JOSM account. Then pwede mo na siyang gamitin as your background for digitizing. So ito, sobrang kita nyo naman yung crisp na buildings for digitizing. So sobrang ganda na mag-digitize pag ganito ka-high-res yung images niya. Yun. Okay. So, other mapping projects, highlight ko lang itong Malapascua. So, we flew using EB in Malapascua Island in 2018 for marine 6 a.m. wake-up call. Sorry. So marine conservation and for marine conservation. So kasabay namin yung RAM Philippines or yung Remote Area Medical Philippines while we're doing the flights. So it only took us like 18 minutes to survey this area. And kasama rin namin ang CAAP. So meron silang pinadala sa amin na representative to guide us during that flight. Ayun, so our partner also there are local communities and yung Shark Link project. And other places like Sulu, Apayao. And last year, during the Pista ng Mapa event, nag-survey din kami sa Foundation University Dumaguete. So this is the school and the community behind it. So nagpalipad ako ng drone while the rest of the volunteers got street view images using a phone camera and a selfie stick. Ayan, you can also open this in ID Editor and JOSM para mag-digitize. Ayan, so share ko lang din tong drone social code of conduct. So I got this from Robotics. So I just follow this rule and everywhere I go. So do no harm, be open, be prepared, fly responsibly, and think about your data. Okay, so some hugot tips lang I would like to share. So don't be afraid of crashing. So it's bound to happen. Ang dami ko ng crash stories na na-experience. And research your area very well. So check the weather, proximity to airports, and airports, people, or restricted buildings, and find a good takeoff and landing area. Then always cache-based map. Lalo na kung bigla kayong pupunta sa mountain or sa mahina yung signal, tapos di pa na-cache yung base map niya. Sobrang stress nun. And yun, pwede kayo mag-check ng UAV forecast. And yep, thank you. So if you have, gusto ko lang kayong i-invite to like our Facebook page, Ninja Ladies PH, Philippines Flying Labs. And if you're not part of the OpenStreetMap community yet, may Facebook group din kami. And you can check also yung Geographic Information Science PH or QGIS PH. Yun lang. Thank you.
Hello. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Leigh. Now I'll open the floor for questions. Ms. Leigh, you can now stop sharing your screen. May I request my fellow panelists to please kindly turn on your video and help us in answering the questions here in the Q&A. Okay, first question. I think this is addressed to Ma'am Lily. First, how did you identify the boundaries of the zones using drone-generated photo?
Hi, good morning again. Thank you for that question. In identifying boundaries, as much as possible, we use natural boundaries, like for example, road networks that could separate an area to another. So we are also taking advantage of the maps that are being shown from the orthophoto and then validated it in the field and to match it with the actual location of the road. So from there, we designated zones using those natural boundaries such as roads and landmarks. Did I answer the question?
Yes, ma'am. I think you did.
Thank you very much.
Next question, ma'am, ulit sa inyo po. What drove you to use UAVs when it seems, please correct me if I'm wrong, cloud-free high-resolution satellite photos may also deliver the same output at a cheaper and faster turnaround time?
Yes, but the orthophoto that were being presented to us, the resolutions were great. And then I think it was flown to a height of about 50 meters. So if I'm not mistaken, about 50 meters high, 50 feet or 50 meters, no, 50 feet, sorry. and so we are getting a clearer picture of the area. Although there are portions that the drones were not allowed to fly, so from there we just complement it with the satellite maps that we are getting from the Google Earth.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I think just to give context dun sa mga questions kay Ma'am Lily, Sir Rene and Miss Ray, if you could help me in explaining this one. The project in 2016, the orthophoto was, well, the our FEF's engagement with Cordova in 2016, our goal was just to test out if drones can be actually used for surveying. And then, yung paggawa ng CLUP, yung Comprehensive Land Use Plan, para naging ano lang siya, afterthought. So we
Yeah.
thought, oh, we already have an orthophoto. Why don't we use this for developing a comprehensive land use plan? Tama po ba, Ma'am Lily?
Yeah, actually the use of drones in CLUP was just incidental to that project, wherein drone was actually intended for land surveying. So incidentally, we found out that there are photos that will be used for updating our land use plan and then our red road networks plan also.
Okay. Thank you, Ma'am Lily.
Thank you.
Another question po pala sa inyo from Jose Gavino. Yung question po is, with that improvement in your zoning ordinance, what significant improvement in real estate tax collection does your municipality attain?
Okay. So he is referring to the real estate tax, real property tax. I think my understanding is that he is referring to the impact, no, of the real property taxes in the zoning. Actually, zoning is different from the real property tax collection because in real property tax collection, it is under the office of the municipal assessor, and the basis for the assessment of the real property tax is the actual use of the area, not the zoning. The zoning, that the type of zoning or planning actually that we are adapting based on the HLURB standard is actually compatibility. Like for example, when I presented a while ago that this portion here is yellow, the portion here is yellow means residential, or red commercial, it doesn't exclusively mean that this area is dedicated for residential and this area is dedicated for commercial, because the type of planning that we have is compatibility planning. For as long as the proposed development are compatible or does not run counter with the adjacent development, we will allow that. So to answer the question on the real property taxes, actually, if your property is being zoned as a commercial area, and then you happen to put your residential area and you are actually using it for residential purposes, the municipal assessor's office in their assessment or appraisal on the actual land use of your area will be assessing it as a residential. So they also have their bracket or as to the computation of the assessed value of your property based on your actual use, not on the zoning. The zoning actually would only come out the moment that you would build structures, because you will be complying with locational clearance. So we will see to it that your proposed development conforms with the zoning ordinance. And the zoning also comes in, or the zonal, no, it's actually referring to the zonal from the BIR, the moment you will sell your property, because that would not be based on the actual land use, but maybe the zoning or the zonal from as designated by the BIR.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Jump muna tayo kay Leigh, and then we'll go back to you, Ma'am Lily. So, Leigh, may question sa iyo dito. With your presentation, how did you arrive in a 5 centimeter resolution DEM, since you never mentioned about reference elevations approved by NAMRIA? Kindly elaborate, thanks.
Okay. Sorry. Kasi ano lang siya. So, if you use the Pix4D app on your phone, so it depends on the flight height, kung ano resolution or GSD ng images mo. And then after that, you process this in Pix4D, and then and it's automatically detected once you process it on Pix4D mapper. So yun, hindi ako nag-consider ng any Wait, what did you say? Any
Reference elevation.
Reference elevations.
wala akong kinonsider na gano'n.
Okay. So, sinet mo na yung app, yung software na mismo yung nag-set nung ano,
GS.
nung
Based on
resolution. Yes.
height lang. Ayun.
Okay. Thanks. Meron tayong tatlong questions dito from Prof. Ping Lopez. Drum roll. Tadadadadadan. Okay. First question this is addressed to Ma'am Lily. Ma'am, was the CLUP ever used for boundary dispute resolution within the municipality or with adjoining LGUs?
No. Actually, the SALUP is not a proper tool for resolving boundary disputes. You mean barangay dispute or dispute personal? I'm sorry,
Boundary, ma'am. Boundary. Between
boundary dispute.
barangays or
Within the municipality or
Okay, no.
adjoining?
Actually, CUP is not the proper tool for that. Although in the consultations, we cannot avoid that in designating zones, the barangays would really have to raise their concerns, no, as to their claims that this particular area is ours, that building belongs to our barangay, because in the end that would have implication as to their share in the real property taxes. But we refrain to use CLUP as a tool for settling disputes because it is not the proper venue. I always tell the barangay captains that if they have their complaints, if they have their objections as to the boundary disputes, all they have to do is to pass a resolution and address it to the Sangguniang Bayan because that's the proper venue to solve their boundary disputes. For our municipality, we're just fortunate also that prior to updating our CUP in 2014, there was this political boundary survey conducted by the DNR, wherein the barangay leaders were asked to signify that these are the designated boundaries in their barangay. So um, at least it helped us out in polishing boundary disputes. But still, there are boundary disputes as of the moment also, and we just reflected it in the CLUP that this area is being contested. But then I always emphasize that CLUP is for planning purposes, not to solve their disputes, because that would be another. There's another venue for that.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, another question. How were the lot parcels projected on the orthophotos? Were cadastral data used?
Sarane, please answer. Sarane. Sarane could well answer that. Yes, we are also getting reference from the cadastral map as to the parcels of land as regards land surveying.
Yeah.
But yes, sir, go.
Go ahead, Lee. Go ahead, Lee.
But in the CLUP or zoning, we're not actually concerned about parcels of land because parcels of land belong to the assessor, and our concern is more on the blocks or the zones, particular zones, regardless of what parcel of land is that. Sarane, go.
Yeah. There is this is related actually to another innovation that was introduced by the Foundation for Economic Freedom, which is a partnership between the municipality of Cordova and the regional office of the Department of the Environment and Natural Resources. This is a public land titling partnership, and by the terms of that partnership, the regional office was able to share lot parcel data for the entire municipality. That lot parcel data, which was shared, was preliminary. It is now undergoing improvements as part of the DNR's program to improve their data holdings. But with that preliminary information, Lily and her team, with the help of FEF, were able to overlay the lot parcel data on the orthophoto, and they noted some areas for improvement with the data. So at the end of the day, the lot parcel data was not used for purposes of land use planning, but it was used as reference for titling and to some extent for real property tax administration. I also wanted to add that the idea of using the drones for for land use planning in Cordova was not really an afterthought. We would prefer to think of it as magis, no?
Okay.
Additional, more going beyond, right?
Okay.
Di ba? Kasi ano AMGG tayo eh. So yun. Yun, and then I also would like to mention that the assessor was also able to use the drones nga to validate some tax declarations. Like for example, dun sa mga resorts, iilan lang yung mga resorts that declared that they had swimming pools. But looking at the drone imagery, he was able to validate, the assessor was able to validate na mas marami pa palang resorts that had swimming pools, and some resorts even had 2 or 3, right? So that increased his assessment for those properties. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Rene. Ma'am, another question for you po. In the rapid land use appraisal training, what were the qualifications of the trainees?
So, qualifications of the trainees, at least somebody who knows how to use computer. So, ganun lang. Parang hindi naman masyadong mataas yung qualifications for the trainee. But we just orient them to on how to, especially on the GIS, and then also we also give them some specifics about the CUP and the zoning ordinance, as well as parcellary or parcels of land, political boundary, for them to appreciate the beauty of the rapid training. Pero it's not really that high qualification for training. For as long as the person is willing and has good attitude, okay na yun.
Also to just differentiate also, iba yung sa rapid land tenure appraisal kasi more of building up the data yon. As opposed to baka yung tinitingnan nila is the adjudicators. Yung mismong adjudicators who should have the capabilities.
Okay. Adjudicators, wala. It's not part of the CLUP. It's a different thing. It's in the assessor's office. So iba din ang qualifications for that.
Ako, I noted that one of the good things about Lily's team is that they have local knowledge. They have really good local knowledge kasi kung dadaanin mo lang sa interpretation ng drone photo, there are some structures na you think are residential. Pero pagpunta mo dun sa site, it's actually used as a kindergarten school or something. Di ba, Lee? Yung particular case na yun. Without the local knowledge of Lily's staff, they wouldn't have caught that eh. But since they know the place, they knew that what looked like a residential site is actually a kindergarten school, which is a different classification.
Okay, thank you. Ma'am, hello baby, Red. Ma'am, another question po from Miss Furley Grace Bungao. The question from Miss Lily, are there any tips you can share on how to delineate the forest land use cover of the city? Davao City has large area for forest cover.
Oh, I think the second speaker could best answer that one. I could not really give a tip on that because our mangroves here in Cordova are just not tall trees, but mangrove areas, mangrove trees. So it's not really difficult to fly drones over the area. But if she is referring to the forest with very tall trees, I could not give any tip in particular. But nonetheless, the mangrove forest in Cordova were part of the area being produced out of the Orthophoto Map. So it's no problem because Cordova is just a small town. So it's easy for us to identify also that these are mangrove areas, environmental protection areas, or production use areas.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Leigh, how about you? Do you have any experience flying your drones over a heavily forested area?
Yeah. I was involved in one project. Pero yeah, I haven't really experienced that much in that part.
I think for the forest land use planning part, kasama yung technical expertise then of our friends from the Forest Management Bureau ng DENR. So it's parang partnership no, with the local government and DNR FMB to produce the FLUP or yung map, forest land use map. Kasi it emanates from them di ba? Yung areas, yung forest lands and then yung mga for protection and for production.
Yeah.
So it's a process also.
Yeah.
It's also a process.
Yes, that's right. And to add to that, actually in formulating the forest land use plan, we our mayor entered into an agreement with the DNR because we refer to the land classification map of the DNR, which says that this area here is timberland, which comprises the forest or alienable and disposable.
Yes.
So there's but as to using drones in identifying mangroves or identifying forest, I am not sure. I'm not sure yet because it's difficult also. But for up there, you can identify really that this area is a forest. But so the real forest, I could not give in particular. Our situation here is different.
Yes. More
And,
of more of parang urban land use.
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry, meron pala akong isa. Sorry na.
Okay.
Ngayon,
Shoot.
dun sa forest land cover area, we did that in one of our projects. And we actually had foresters to identify those areas. Pero yun nga, they had to manually check the canopy kung hanggang saan yung extent ng mga forest covers.
Okay. Leigh, may additional question dito si Prof. Ping Lopez. Gumamit ka daw ba ng GCPs in the rectification of images?
Nope. No GCPs.
Yung sinasabi yung manual type points, Leigh, maybe you can expound on that.
Okay. Since I was using two data sets nga, so magkaiba yung date. And yung first process niya is okay. Sakto siya dun sa, I think I used OpenStreetMap background and Maxar. And then dun sa second, nag-shift na siya on the side. So, nag-pick lang ako ng points na similar dun sa two areas. Dun sa two data sets. And I just reprocess it in Pix4D. And okay na siya.
So medyo kasi most of our audience are genetic engineers, so meron talaga silang questions on accuracies, especially if also used for mapping. So kaya we get these questions on
gets ko naman do, pero yung usually na nililipad ko is we don't really require that much of accuracy or of the high resolution images for digitizing purposes on OpenStreetMap.
Also, can I ask with regards to kung yung mga clients, do they give you the specifications kung ano lang yung kailangan nila, like in terms of accuracy, or kayo na yung nagpo-propose?
Working siguro, sige, so I'm gonna use my SRDP hat today. Yes, meron silang specific na resolution na ginagawa, and then we also use nag-survey din kami nag-land survey din kami to check the GCP accuracy.
Okay, for those engineering projects. Pero most planning and yung mga planning projects talagang orthophoto lang, and then not much on
more on feature extraction lang for planning and management. Yun yung important sa kanila, not the accuracy.
Okay.
May question din ako kay Miss Leigh. Hello. Okay. Alam niyo may limit ba yung pag-process ng limit ng photos yung pwede i-process using OpenDroneMap?
Well, I think wala, as long as yung credits mo ay available and is within that limit, and pwede ka pa rin mag-add ng credit, so you can add more images.
All right.
Meron pa bang gustong humabol na question or any final words from our panelists? Final words.
Yung question on how many ladies are drone pilots. Alam mo ba, Leigh, kung may yung nominal figure, how many?
Actually, I got that data last year, August 2019 for the Pista ng Mapa event on Dumaguete. So, hindi pa ako nag-update ngayon.
Pero like, may kilala ka bang iba na lady controllers?
Yes.
Aside from yourself?
Yes. Sa office namin meron. And
Ilan kayo?
1, 2.
Bilang pa rin, no?
Yes.
Bilang na bilang.
Para last year, nasa 500 yung registered drone pilots. Tapos parang nasa 30 or 40 lang yung women. So, parang ganun. And this year, manggugulo ako ulit sa CAAP para humingi ng data nila kung nag-increase ba yung number of women pilots.
Okay. Leigh, may pahabol sa yung question dito kasi you mentioned that you've been crashing a lot of drones. Well, not a lot, but some drones. My question is, are there sanctions? Pag nabagsak mo ba, meron bang, bayad ka ba ng penalty? Or do you have to serve for 1 month to be a street sweeper in that area?
Well, yung kinakash ko naman na drones ay sa office or personal. So, wala naman yung sanctions. Sad lang kasi may mga gas-gas na siya, color green na yung propeller.
Yeah. There was actually a case 2 years ago, no? Na nag-crash yung drone sa isang car dito sa Manila, Metro Manila. We should post that interview of kung ano ang mga sanctions sa ganyan.
Yeah. Just be very careful lang when you try to fly your drone. Get away from people. Tsaka lalo na sa mga kids, medyo interested sila talaga kapag may lumilipad na drone.
Okay. I think that concludes our Q&A. Wait, may humabol. Okay. How does Cordova deal with agriculture daw po, Ma'am Lily?
May agricultural land pa ba kayo sa Cordova, Ma'am Lily?
As to specific zoning, wala na siyang agricultural land. Actually, Cordova is not really suitable for agricultural use. Although may mga previews pa siya, like na-classify siya na woodland, those areas along the sea na ginagamit nilang fish pond, adjacent to that, dinideclare nila na agriculture. But as to zoning, wala na pong, we no longer have agricultural uses. By the way, nakalimutan kong i-mention yung status ng CLUP namin sa zoning ordinance. That CLUP and ZO that we updated, we presented it to the Provincial Land Use Committee last March, and we were given conditional approval already. So we're ready for we're readying it for submission to the Sangguniang Panglungsod for the approval of the zoning ordinance.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir Rene, do you have anything to say or add?
Yeah. I'm planning on Jake. Have you heard?
You're a bit choppy,
Hello?
sir, and you're frozen.
Hello, how's this, Jake?
That's
Better?
okay. Yes.
Yeah, I'm just reflecting on 3 things that came out of this webinar today that I think would explore for future episodes. No? The first one is the question about the comparative advantages of satellite imagery compared to drone imagery. Right? Maybe that is something that is of practical value, and I hope that the participant who asked the question about this could help us to explore deeper this question about what are the relative advantages of satellite imagery compared to drones and vice versa. The second thing that is very interesting is the question of gender. Where it reference to the number of registered pilots. Uh, Sir Ping said that there's probably a participant here now who is with CAAP, and yeah, I think we should, Lei, we should look into that, right? We should.
Yes, sir.
Oh, the interesting issue yan. And then, yung pangatlo is also the further question about yung sa land use planning for other kinds of municipalities. Kasi si Lily, Cordova is a coastal municipality. So as she pointed out, walang forest land masyado.
Walang mountains.
Walang agni.
So how would this like? Oo, for a mountainous area siguro or other geographic conditions ng or layout ng mga munisipyo. Yun lang. Thank you very much, G.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Again, guys, I'm ending this Q&A. Please do answer the feedback form found in the chat box. And we'll be providing certificates after this webinar, either tomorrow or early next week. We'll be having another webinar next week, August 20, Thursday, 10 a.m. Again, if you have any more questions, just drop a message in our Facebook page. We'll also be uploading this webinar in our Facebook page and in the FEF's YouTube channel. Lastly, I would like to thank everyone, our guest speakers, Ma'am Lily Ator, Leigh Lunas. I would also like to thank the Asia Foundation for supporting this webinar. And also lastly, to all of you attendees for joining us today. Again, good morning and have a nice day ahead.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much.